What's up, everyone? I want to talk about Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I also want to follow up with some talk about what we really, as boxing fans, should be talking about, which is Fury versus Usyk coming up May 18th. But, of course, you have to talk about this because this is what people are talking about. And it kind of, like I went over it in previous talking points, about how this is a fake fight. It's not real. It's an exhibition, first of all. And first of all, you got a 58-year-old Mike Tyson in there, who 58 years old is old in boxing, of course. You got a B, not even. You got a C- fighter who's a hobbyist type of boxer who has limited talent and skill when he's put in there against a real boxer. You got a YouTube boxer, Jake Paul, that is. And, it's just facts. If you judge him by looking at real fighters, you got Tyson Fury's brother, who's just a regular type of journeyman, type of skilled fighter. Finally, this Jake Paul character gets in there and fights a real fighter, his age, important, his age, and a real professional boxer, and he loses his first fight when the guy's not a middle-aged MMA fighter or not a senior citizen. Sorry. So this is really, I gotta have my coffee. So anyway, this is what you get when you are in a new world where there's social media influencers and there's these TikToks and all that, and it's all good. I love all that, and I utilize these things. But this is just when you have a really young fan base that they figured out they can market as some sort of fighter, Jake Paul, who's not a professional boxer, versus a very old Mike Tyson who looks great in a few second clips, 30-second clips on Instagram or whatever. But if you look at the facts and you really start to look at this from experienced fight fans' point of view, you will quickly realize the whole fight starts to fall apart as a real fight. It's like WWE, and of course Mike Tyson wants that check, no problem, get that money, Tyson. But if you look at the facts, Tyson in his 30s, whether they were in his mid-30s or late 30s, in his last few fights versus Kevin McBride, Danny Williams, he couldn't even stand up because he was so gassed. He wasn't necessarily beat because of skill. It was just because he was in there to get a check, and he was in his late 30s and he lost interest in the sport, and he just didn't have the gas, Tyson. So he was just knocked out. He didn't have the passion. And now on top of this, he's 58, and he also uses a lot of things, recreational trees, if you know what I mean. I don't want to say the word, but the green stuff. And he uses that and some other things from what I saw in his podcast. So Tyson is going to go in there like this, not in 100% tip-top shape as a 50-year-old man. Being 58 alone, he's not going to be in tip-top shape, way off the mark from his late 30s. So why wouldn't, if it was serious or even kind of serious, Jake Paul just dance and get him tired? So Tyson's power will be the last thing to go, but he can avoid it, and it'll be so hard for Mike Tyson to wind up and throw a punch because he'll be so tired, even with the 2 rounds. It's going to be very difficult for him to chase down a 28-year-old who could grab him, tie him up, back off. But will there be a flash knockdown in the first round? Maybe, perhaps. Because even if Tyson hits you in a sparring session, he can knock you down with that power. And as you know, if you look at boxing history, George Foreman versus Michael Moorer. Foreman was in his 40s, knocked out Michael Moorer. But still, that was still like 44, 45 years old. I forget what he was at the time. And comparatively, it's still a lot younger than a 58-year-old. I don't know how this could be looked at seriously by anybody. Anyone would know that if Jake Paul gets in there against even a B- fighter who's a boxer, because we saw the evidence of that with Tyson Fury's brother, Jake Paul is just not a talented fighter. He's just a guy who looks like he took up boxing for a hobby, and he's got some skill, of course, he's learning, but he's just not there. It's just he doesn't have it. It would be, being a contender, being a legitimate ranked contender, a prospect, legitimately. He knows it, they know it. That's why they don't put him in there. If he would have knocked out Tyson Fury brother faster, or it would have looked impressive, maybe they would have pushed him along. But as far as any real semblance of a boxing career for this fighter who's just a clown show. It's just a sideshow. It's WWE with boxing gloves. This is a fake fight, everybody. Of course, Mike Tyson's going to try to hype it up. He wants to sell it too. He wants to make money. Of course. Can you blame him? The way I said that, money. But this is some footage I shot. I'll put it on a loop. Going over some bridges and stuff like that in New York. Really cool. Anyway, I think like this is just a farce fight. It's just not real. And unfortunately, we're going to see, it stinks. I don't think Mike Tyson should be in there fighting. Honestly, even if it's remotely Jake Paul's throwing some real punches at him, remotely real, or Tyson being hit in the head with no headgear, 58 years old, this is just still a risk, because at that age, the human body's not made to be hit in the head anyway, and it does cause problems. You can, I'm not a doctor, but obviously, if you look at it causes dementia, it causes speech slurring and all types of problems, concussions, and you got a 58-year-old in there going up against a young guy like this. He could probably blow him over. If you look at the last Tyson fights, again, they're on YouTube. Go to Kevin McBride versus Mike Tyson. Go to Danny Williams versus Mike Tyson. Tyson had Danny Williams hurt early, and he was so gassed by the third round. He basically beat himself. When I say that, it means he didn't train. He didn't have the gas, nothing in the gas tank. He wasn't giving a full effort. If he was, he would have had Danny Williams and Kevin McBride out of there. He was just out of it, not training. He was more of a 4-round fighter at that point. And this Jake Paul dude could just run on him in his 20s. You feel like Superman. You have infinite energy, it feels like. And when you're in there against someone who's almost 60 years old, give me a break. It's going to be really ugly. It's not going to be fun. I get it. It's for money, but it's crazy because it's overshadowing real boxing. When I say real boxing, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to talk about it now. May 18th, 2024, Tyson Fury versus Usyk. It's going to be really exciting. Usyk is moving up to heavyweight. What was it from cruiserweight? Much smaller man. Tyson Fury's going to lay on him, use a lot of tactics like this. But which Tyson Fury will show up? I'm not too sure at this point. Tyson Fury did not look good against Ngannou. Arguably, he could have lost that fight. A fight where Joshua easily took out, Ngannou, whereas Usyk looked remarkable. Utilized skills, great footwork, everything as the smaller man against Joshua and beat him. Don't sleep. That's my point. I'm not going to make my final decision. I'm not too sure yet, to be honest. But, to discredit someone because they're once wrong off a fighter twice. If you look at my boxing predictions in the history, I know what I'm talking about because I got a lot right over the years. Many fights right where people, even up and comers, I predicted, and I won contests from Showtime, which I recorded here on the channel. 14 fight win streak, prediction streaks where it was really hard to call because you really didn't know a lot of contenders were coming in there, and it wasn't like obvious A side and B sides. But anyway, so if you look at the fight between these two, it's very interesting. I'm excited about this. It's a real match. It's not a joke. It's not some, a diminished 58-year-old fighting a 20-something-year-old YouTube fighter doing this for money. It's just, they're doing it for money, but you know what I mean. They're not collecting a check off of a staged event. But this is going to be amazing. I think it's going to be really interesting because of the height difference, the so many variables, the way it's going to look, it's good, the optics, because Tyson Fury is so tall. So I'm excited about this match. I'm definitely going to be watching it, and I'm curious to see what Usyk can do. Could he outwork the bigger man? For sure, he did it with Joshua. Can he get under Tyson Fury's skin and frustrate him? And look what Ngannou did as a limited, which he was exposed with Joshua, a limited fighter did against Tyson Fury, obviously, who didn't train. But still, don't sleep on Usyk. That's what I'm saying. Will I be surprised if Usyk captures a decision against Tyson Fury? Nope, I won't be. I will not be surprised at this stage of the game. And based on what I've seen from Tyson Fury recently, we could only judge him really by his last fight. And we could judge Usyk by his last fight, who looked pretty damn good. I think that this is going to be a very interesting matchup. I think that Tyson Fury has his hands full. He really does. He better not be taking this man lightly. It looks like he's not, but you never know what the mindset is. It's all about the mindset too. Once you got the mindset right, it is like mostly mental, the sport, boxing, and he better be on point mentally, because Usyk can run on him, box on him, use angles. You really confuse Tyson Fury and frustrate him and make him look really bad. I'm serious. He might make him look really bad. It's definitely not going to be a shocker. Styles make fights. It all depends upon the approach, and you know that because if you looked at Fury versus Wilder 1, Fury almost got beat, but Fury did win. He had his hands full. He got up off the canvas, and it's the way he fought him. He made it a lot harder because he didn't know, and he learned at the end of the first Wilder fight, he had to fight Wilder. He figured him out, and he brought that into the second fight, made it easy, and then he did the same with the third fight. You know, it wasn't super easy because Wilder is very good and very powerful at the time, but he better be careful. He better be on the mark with this one. Fury's got his hands full, and with that, I'm going to be out. I'll see you in the next one.